Hello again, everyone. Varel here, Flo out of Portland. Welcome to our mini FAQ series. Question number 3, pretty popular question. How long should a roof last in the Pacific Northwest? It's going to vary just depending on a bunch of different factors. One of the most important that I believe is ventilation. Here at Flo, we don't build roofs from the top down, we build roofs from the inside out. Air literally needs to flow through your attic space, which is where flow comes from in its essence. Air needs to flow through your attic space. So on the shingle side, typically though, you're going to get anywhere from 20 to 30 years. They all say 50. That's a crock of shit. We'll talk about that on the back end of this short answer. Membrane is about a 20 to 30 year. It all depends on how you maintenance that roof. And metal typically should be anywhere from 40, 60 to 60 plus, depending on, again, how it was installed, the quality of the paint, the metal, and how you maintain the roof. So that was a short answer. The long answer on how long any roof should last will depend on the material quality, also the workmanship. But you're not going to expect. Let's get this out of the way. We're not in a storm zone. We don't have a lot of wind unless you're on the gorge or on the coast, and a little bit of wind, even up to 60 plus miles an hour, is not going to be the end of the world for a roof. Okay, if it's installed correctly with matching components, that system should be warranted to 110, 130 miles an hour. That's not going to be the case for your 3-tab shingles. Okay, your 3-tab are the lightest duty, least cured, least adhered shingle you can get. So we'll break it down. Let's assume the ventilation is done right, workmanship is on point. How long are these systems going to last? So starting at the low end, 3-tab shingles, 15 to 25 years. How you can get it to last longer is good maintenance. Okay, we've seen those systems make it 25 years plus. Always surprises us. And I guess we should also state that let's assume it's a single layer, because multiple layers can accelerate the aging effect, because then it's not properly ventilated, it's not breathing properly, plus you're going to have pre-existing workmanship related issues that we can't guarantee. No one could. And at that point, how can you expect that roof to last the full lifespan if you're not going to address the ventilation components? Again, ventilation in steep slope for shingles is one of the primary factors, not the only factor, that will determine if a roof is going to make it 30 plus years. You want that 30 number when you replace your shingle roof with a shingle roof. Anything less, you got gypped. Okay? Now, there are product that doesn't last as long. Okay? But you can make anything last longer than its expected lifespan if you take care of it. So, at least how we approach membrane systems on the commercial side, maintenance forever and always will be the reason why anything lasts longer. Okay, think about your car as the most simple analogy for anyone that drives. Typically, anyone who has a house or property drives. More and more, you've seen the move to electric. But for petroleum-based oil combustion engines, you're going to have oil inside there that's going to need to be changed every 3 to 10,000 miles, depending on the engine type, depending on the quality of the oil. But no matter what, you're going to be changing that oil multiple times to get to 100,000 miles. You want 250,000 miles out of your Toyota or your Chevy, whatever you're driving. You don't want 150, okay? Will you have to service the transmission during that time? Absolutely, right? So we cannot get away from maintenance with vehicles. And even in the electric side of things, you gotta change or rotate your tires. You're not going to be getting away from that, okay? No matter what, in the vehicle side of things, you're going to have to maintain that vehicle to properly make it last as long as possible. And with roofs, it is no different. It's literally a petroleum-based product. And if you have qualms or issues with putting more money into something that you're spending on, blame the manufacturers or buy a metal roof. Okay? Metal roofs don't require as much maintenance. The ROI for anyone And we haven't learned this in the Pacific Northwest. It's not, there's some people that understand that doing the thing right the first time can save you a lot on the back end. It really depends on your investment strategy, on where you're at in your journey, what you value in life, what's your risk tolerance, what's your budget, where are you at, what do you want to do? Are you going to stay in this house or this building for forever? Okay, so important details. I know we're bouncing around here, but we're covering a lot of good ground. I want you guys to get this information so that you can run with it, you can make better decisions in your future, or even educate your clients the way that we perceive roofing, which is a preserve and protect model. We literally wrap our trucks with repair, maintain, replace, repair, maintain, restore. 3 different things before we ever talk about replacement. So there's 4. Repair, maintain, replace. Repair, maintain, restore, replace. Gosh darn it. And so with that, the restoration process in the commercial side of things has a bunch of different options. We don't really give folks on the residential side that option because you can't really restore a shingle product, which is the most popular roofing system currently. You're seeing places in Florida and the Midwest, Texas, these storm-related zones move away from asphalt roofs because insurance companies are raising the deductibles. And the deductibles are raising across the country, but in those storm zones, deductibles are damn near the same price as a roof replacement now. So there's no incentive for homeowners, property owners to wait to get a roof done when a storm hits. Okay, so this is an indicator, and I've been watching from a distance, right? We're over here on the West Coast, things are pretty chill. I actually don't like insurance because it's extra paperwork, and I hate paperwork, okay? Who doesn't like paperwork? Oh. The raising deductibles on the insurance side is the end game for the insurance industry. So all those that were drawn over to a quick buck, who don't have a brand, who didn't choose to plant a flag and stand in a region, are now moving towards creating a brand, and the insurance cycle of storm chasing is coming to an end. And so here in the Northwest, we're going to see a similar trend. The deductibles are going to increase for roofs. You're going to see this in the language of your policies. Doesn't even matter anymore if you're in a low risk region. What's going to happen is you're going to shop more carefully for the person doing your replacement in the event of a storm, which means you're not going to go for the person who shows up to your door first. You're going to go with someone who has proper reputation, training in place, license, bond, and insurance, who's been in the area. And because you're now shopping for a company that you know is going to be able to do a quality job, you're also going to be considering, because people back in during the pandemic got such a low rate, you're going to see people staying in their properties potentially for life because that low 2% rate, whatever it was. I'm jealous you guys got in on that. But proud of you, because someone's got to do it, right? Which means that you have to protect your investment. You have to protect your income. You have to protect your family's well-being by making sure that you choose a product or a system that's going to last the longest. And so I hope that more people will move closer to considering metal replacements here in the Pacific Northwest. And we can make metal very attractive against asphalt for anyone considering on the price side of things. But it's going to be about how that system lasts and how it was installed. So, gotta get my guys' keys. They're heading down to a post office project in Eugene. We will continue this warranty talk here in a second. crews get an early start. It's an hour and a half drive down to Eugene, so got to get them on the road. March 1st, I don't know why it took us so long, but March 1st we're going to be opening at 6, at least getting the crews on the road at 6. Trying to avoid traffic, getting back before traffic builds up too is part of that consideration. Majority of, and I mean, I'm already in the shop at 4 or 5 anyway, so it's like, why are we not kicking things off? So, back to the question. We never really broke it down. Cheap shingles, 15 to 25 years. Mid-grade shingles, 20 to 30. You can get a little bit longer if you take care of them. Malarkey will give you the longest lasting shingle out of any brand available in the market. They were the first to come in with the next polymer, which is an upcycled rubber and plastic, which is going to be better UV resistance, gives it more flexibility. We've been on the Malarkey train since the beginning, and I completely trust all of the research and development, the R&D that goes into all the Wholesome brands. We're also certified by the majority of their manufacturers, and we're working on our Firestone cert. So the product on the shingle side is only as good as the granule retention. And if you have good adhesion from a granule retention perspective, then that shingle is going to be protected from the sun longer, which means it's going to last longer. And so Malarkey was the first to come in with this next polymer, which is, again, upcycling rubber and plastic out of landfills, super sustainable. All my hippies love it. I love it. And at that point, you have a shingle that will likely get between 30 and 50 years, as long as you're taking care of it. You're not power washing it aggressively, or there's not too much foot traffic on those shingles, then you should be fine. On the membrane side, a standard 60 mil system is going to be about 20 years. It can be 15 years if you neglect it, or it could be closer to 25 or 30 years if you protect it, take care of it. Like we were talking about, maintenance is the end-all be-all for any roofing system. On the 80 mil side, they say 30 years on paper, but again, you got to take care of it. That same system may not last as long as you'd wish if you don't take care of it by taking care of the penetrations, checking all the seams, keeping it clean. You can also get 35 plus on that 80 mil system, which you can get on the residential side, but on the commercial side, 80 mils is a little more upfront, maybe 20 to 25% material cost, but you're getting that extra couple decades. And so for all of my buy and hold people on the asset side of things for their portfolio, consider the 80 mil, but I understand it's a little more upfront. Now, from my interactions with my commercial clients, typically these assets are cherished and they are not going to be sold anytime soon. And so it's best to do things right with a thicker membrane than to be cheaper to try and salvage. Now, cash flow, of course, is the biggest concern of any business, whether it's real estate or brick and mortar. We understand, even on the distribution side, that cash flow is that biggest concern. Most of these systems can be repaired. Okay, when a system on the membrane side starts to be at a no questions asked considered replacement or potential layover, depending on the layers, what's going to happen is you're typically going to see that property owner already tried to be cheap. I've seen this on so many systems where it's a silver metallic coating. It's like an acrylic, and it's already flaking, right? How can you expect any new product to adhere to something that's already peeling off? It won't, okay? No one can warranty that. So the alternatives are a layover, if it's a single layer, and the ISO is good. And then at that point, you have some additional savings. You can take that system that you currently have at 20 to 30 years, smack another 20 plus on it if you do it right. So there's some stipulations on what happens with those systems, but generally we want to save everyone money and try to avoid the replacement conversation. On the metal side, standard systems 40 to 60 years, Kynar systems 40 to 60 plus. Metal gauge does play a factor. Aluminum systems for the coast, definitely going to last even longer, probably the longest lasting systems available. As long as you're using all aluminum and zinc components, you're not going to have any ferrous metals, you should be fine. For any metal system, you always want to have a high temp underlayment. We use a Grace high temp peel and stick. Just a little added protection, helps resist any of that expansion, contraction, friction that happens over the decades as well through the swings of the temperatures. But that's pretty much the longevity conversation for the roofing systems that we install. And so we'll move on to the next one.